Hey plant enthusiasts, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mark, also known as Your Babylon, and in today's video we're going to cover this PON, or Lechuza PON as it's known. I'm going to talk about what PON is, how to use it, and what are the benefits of it. So first of all, before we get into the topic, I just want to thank two people that have inspired me to finally move to PON. I've known about PON for a while. I was going down the semi-hydro route using lecca pebbles, but I think I've ditched that now, and I think PON is just the way to go. So the two people I'd like to thank that have inspired me to finally move are Knots and Leaves from Instagram and Plant Attic from Instagram. Both provide really nice stories and information and highlights on how to use PON. Very helpful. And the first part that we're going to cover now is what is this stuff and what is it made from? Now here we are looking at a close-up of PON, and it's actually a substrate replacement for soil. You can use it with soil or on its own entirely, and it contains pumice, lava rock, zeolites, which is a porous material, and fertilizer. The fertilizer inside it is meant to last 6 to 12 months maximum. After that, that's when you'd probably apply liquid fertilizer into the water mix. And it is kind of like semi-hydro because you're still going to allow your plant to sit in a small reservoir of water, and that porous material allows the water, the nutrients, to travel up to the roots and the plant. Now, as mentioned, there's a few ways to use this, so I'm going to go over a few of them. This plant here was the first plant I used PON with many months ago, and it was a blend of substrate. So on the packet, when you get some PON, it can say it can be used entirely as a replacement for soil or with soil or another substrate. So in this plant, for example, this is actually a Lechuza pot as well, which is pretty cool. It's soil on the top, and at the bottom of it, there's probably a few inches of PON. And the roots are already poking through the bottom. I don't know whether you can see them in there, but it does love it and they reach for it. And that allows, again, the water and the nutrients to come up into the plant and the soil. Really useful. Now, another way to use it is as a complete soil replacement. So replacing any substrate that you've got and replacing it with PON in its entirety. So here's a plant that I've recently just converted to complete PON. It's in a self-watering pot, and by that it just means that there's a reservoir at the bottom, there's some rope going through that, and that allows, again, the water to travel up into the PON material and into the plant. So the idea really is that the plant, or the PON, the inner mesh, is sitting in a certain amount of water reservoir to allow the nutrients and the water to travel up, activate the fertilizer that's in it if there's any left in there. Otherwise, like I said, you need to be replacing that with your own. But you don't have to use fancy pre-made reservoir pots. You can just do it yourself. And that's what I mostly do. So I've got just a regular pot here, and I use clear plastic orchid inserts, and that way you can see all the roots, how everything's growing. And the way that I try and keep an eye on the PON is just to make sure that it's damp enough here. So if there's not a large reservoir in there, as long as this is damp and you can see condensation, there's still moisture in there and it's still going to work, and the roots and the plant are going to be happy. So clear plastic pots as well, really helpful for that. So another way to use it, which is kind of similar to the first way, is transitional. And so what I'm doing here is, an example is a baby anthurium that was a seedling that was growing in moss, and I want to transfer it into PON. So as you can see here, they've put a little layer of PON at the bottom. There's still some moss there. I want the roots to go and attach to the PON, get used to it, and then it's going to live in PON for the rest of its life. Super happy. Now in this video, I'm not actually going to cover converting a plant. I'm going to save that for another video, then we can go into it in detail and go through it together. But I just want to talk about some benefits of PON. The overall benefits, I would say, are it's way easier than converting a plant to lecca semi-hydro. In fact, I'm so over lecca semi-hydro. I just think PON is so much easier to deal with. A plant converts to it much quicker, and it's easier to maintain, especially when you go on holiday. They just last a lot longer. If you don't believe me, go and see some other videos, go and hit Instagram up other people that are using it. I think they all feel the same about it. It allows the water and the nutrient distribution to travel through really easily, similar to lecca, and that's because of the zeolites, which is that porous material, and the pumice. It manages pH levels really well, and I think another one which is fantastic is it blocks fungal development. One of the other things it does is stop pests like fungus gnats, because what they're after is rotting wood and that kind of substrate, whereas this doesn't have it. So if that's one of your issues, this is a good reason to switch over to PON. And the final benefit of PON is you can use it indefinitely. Now, what I mean by that is it will last a very, very long time, and you don't need to necessarily replace it. The only bit that you need to replace is the fertilizer. And the alternative fertilizer I use is liquid gold leaf, because it's just so easy to use. Now, PON does come in a few different flavors from the company. I think they've got a veggie PON, an orchid PON, regular PON, which is what I use for pretty much all my houseplants. And there might be another one, I can't remember. But I'm going to add links to the website and the PON. There's more information on there. I'm also going to add links to the people that inspired me, where they've got highlights. I've got highlights as well on my Instagram. So if you've got any questions, comment below, like, subscribe, all those types of things for regular updates, and also get me on Instagram. Thanks for watching.